break it down, give you the scoop. Hold on tight, this ain't no ordinary lose. UFC's the battleground where warriors collide. Die Hard MMA podcast, we won't hide. Clint's gonna get deep, analyze each brawl from the underdogs to the champions standing tall. The fury, let your instincts rise. Feel the adrenaline rush, it's time to defy. Die Hard MMA, we're in for the thrill. Get ready for the madness. Let's make that bankroll spill.
Happy Friday, degenerates. Welcome back to the Undefeated Post-Weigh-In Show. I'm your host, as always, your man behind the camera. And we are talking about UFC 315 one final time. I have broken down these fights forward and backwards. Make sure you check out that live show from Monday. It was a great episode. We spent a long time talking about the styles. We have now done some additional research. We have talked to our favorite people in the community. We have watched the weigh-ins, the face-offs, some additional tape, and I'm bringing all that information here to you so that you can make some good bets tomorrow at UFC 315. We also spoke to our guy Andrew from the Sharp Action Report with Superbook Sports, and we know some of these line movements. We know if they were pushed by sharp or overwhelming public action. All that info is right here on the channel for you. I'm not going to repeat all that information. Go check that out. That was a live stream from just a couple of hours ago. What is going on, everybody in the chat? C Dell, what is up? TH, we've got Black M3AWMD, Eric in the house. What's going on? Justin Cash, how's everybody doing? I'm feeling a little bit better. We're a little late today. I apologize about that. We were getting the AC unit fixed up. So like I said on the Sharp Action Report, this week we're not doing the turkey hair parlay, right? This week we're looking for the replacement AC parlay, unfortunately. So I need to hit something, and I need to hit something juicy this week at UFC 315. That is absolutely the goal here today. Let's go ahead and start talking about these fights, why don't we? What I'm going to go ahead and do is run one final time through this card, and we will talk to you guys about how everybody's looking on the scales. I do this time have some photos to go ahead and share with you, and it's actually kind of funny. Shout out to MMA Junkie. That's where I was getting all my photos from, and that's what we've been using for the last little while. I think somebody either watches the show or found out about the show because they changed the formatting on their website to make sure the images cannot be displayed without an MMA Junkie header on it. So somebody knows, and I'm not trying to rob anybody out here. We're using MMA Junkie's photos. So shout out MMA Junkie for going ahead and getting this info for us here today. Real quick before we dig in, do me a favor, hit the like button, get subscribed if you haven't, especially if you're new to the show, or if you tune in every week and you're one of those weirdos who doesn't subscribe, but you watch all the time, get subscribed. It helps me out, does a whole lot of good on my end. So please hit that subscribe button and let's get straight on into it. First fight of the evening. As you can see, the MMA Junkie logo now prominent here on our page. They're not paying me anything. They should sponsor me though if I'm going to use their photos like this with the logo every time. We'll figure this out. Brad Katona takes on Bexat Almacon. We've got both guys coming in at 136 pounds. I'll be honest with you. If you look at Brad Katona's face, those eyes are sunken in pretty badly compared to what we usually see. You can see the skull, right? You can see the what are they called? The orbitals, like the bones around his eyes. You can see he's having a bit of a tough cut up there. Looks good, looks determined, solid flex. Can't knock him for that, but does definitely look like he had a bit of a hard time getting down to 136. My guy Bexat Almacon actually is up one. There we go. He looked, for some reason, it looks to me like you stuck a child's head on a man's body. I don't know. Like, he seems so young in the face. He looked good. Good shape, solid flex. He is all right. Definitely looking forward to seeing him in action here this week. When they do the face-offs for this one, this was a very good, respectful face-off. Bexat was slightly taller. And honestly, it was one of those situations where I thought they were about the same height. I'm pleasantly surprised that Bexat is going to have a height advantage here on this one. Looking forward to this fight, you guys. I'm confused by this line movement here. Bexat is a minus 155 favorite. Brad Katona seems to be the public dog of the week. Everybody piling in on Brad Katona, thinking that he can do what Umar Nurmagomedov did. And as the bantamweight king, you guys, I can tell you, he cannot. Okay, he is far more hittable than Umar. He is not the grappler that Umar is. He is smaller than Umar. Like, this is not even close. These apples and oranges as far as the level of competition goes. Bexat at minus 155 is playable straight. I already parlayed him. So unless I want to go ahead and just show off a big middle finger, Chuck Buffalo style, to everybody in the market, I don't need to do anything at this point. But if you have not yet moved, minus 155 is a very fair price tag, and I like Bexat. In fact, I like Bexat by KO, you guys. It's plus 350 for him to win this fight by knockout. I think he's going to get it done, and I think it's going to be like a attritional round 2, round 3 KO, where once Brad Katona starts to slow down a little bit, gets caught in the face a little bit, the damage accumulates. 18-1 for round 3, 10-1 for round 2. I like those round 2, round 3 props, and I think Bexat is the one who goes ahead and gets it done this week, regardless of what the market says. Shout out everybody else who's pouring in here. We got Old E, Louis Mac, Arrow, what's going on? Eric in the house, Louis Mac Jr., already mentioned you. MAB sub as part of the AC parlay. You know, I actually think it's going to be a TKO just because I think we're going to get a quit job out of Silva. So the sub, it's totally there. It's totally possible, right? But I lean towards the KO more than the sub just because that's the way that we've seen MAB likes to do his work. He's not the biggest submission threat. He's not a guy who's always going to be chasing those submissions and stuff like that. But yeah, I wouldn't mind that at all. UFC, please pay Poatan, which love the name. Have I ever been in the octagon? I did actually go to a, you know what, guys? I apologize. I never do this. I got a text here. Give me just 1 second. Bear with me. I'm sorry. Like I said, we got the AC replaced. So the wife is texting me. She's not home. I was dealing with that BS. So give me just 1 second. I got to respond to the one with the pants on in the family, right? So give me 2 seconds here. I'll get back to my story here. No. This is terrible TV because now that I'm like, I never do this, so I'm like super self-conscious about it. I'm super self-conscious about it. So I'm typing slower than I should be. And then it's making it harder for me to think. So yes, I've been inside the UFC cage before. They've come here to Phoenix, which is where I live. I'm in Arizona, and I've been to both events that they've housed here. So I've gone down like floor level to be, checked it out after the show, that kind of stuff. But I was actually able to go to I competed at Grappler's Quest, which I don't know if they do those anymore, but it was in Vegas, and it was like a UFC Expo situation where they had Grappler's Quest and the Expo going on at the same weekend. Got to meet and greet a whole bunch of fighters and stuff like that. And then I actually competed in jiu-jitsu that weekend. I actually got third. I lost to the guy who won the whole damn thing, and then I won the third place matchup. I got third that weekend in jiu-jitsu. So yes, I actually have been inside the octagon. Eric saying the state of Aldo was depressing. Yeah, tell me about it, Eric. We will get to that. Steven, round 2, round 3, TKO. If we are talking about Bexat, I say yes. That was the read there. That was the read in my opinion. All right, guys, let's keep on moving. Sorry, UFC. I've ever fought. Not MMA, not MMA. So I've done boxing, I've done kickboxing, I've done Muay Thai. I've trained in all those disciplines. My main squeeze was jiu-jitsu. I'm a blue belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu, although it's been so long since I've trained. I can't probably even properly call myself a blue belt because I will have regressed so much at this point. I'd have to relearn a lot. But here, let me show you. I've shown you guys these before. I don't know. Newer people, though, probably. These are your boys' Naga grappling medals, okay? Note the 2 golds, which actually, yeah. So I was very good. I was very good. Now, I was basic. I'm not trying to like toot my own horn or anything like that. I very much was blue belt level when I was competing and white belt level when I was competing. So never got to purple, never got to brown or anything like that. But I was never tapped in competition. And the only one competition that I actually went and competed at that I lost where I didn't place or anything like that, this stud ASU wrestler showed up and competed in a jiu-jitsu tournament. And he threw me basically all over the freaking mats. So no, I've never fought mixed martial arts. I have trained in each discipline of mixed martial arts. I've done a lot of sparring, but I was much more of a grappler than I was a fighter. I took a liver shot in training, and when I took the liver shot in training, I was like, maybe striking ain't for me. I couldn't ever get the timing down, and I just didn't enjoy being hit. Something about jiu-jitsu, you can tap to escape the long-term damage. That's what's up. You know what I mean? For me, I felt far more secure with that. I didn't need the brain damage. I wasn't gonna take it seriously. I wasn't gonna make a living out of it, so I didn't need the years taken off of my life or anything like that. And yeah, I totally understand. I respect it. A lot of people, I'm mixed thoughts on this subject because a lot of people think you're not allowed to talk if you've never experienced. And I've kind of got one foot in both categories because I was an athlete growing up, right? So I can talk about football. I played football. I know a little bit about football, etc. But if you're somebody who's not athletically inclined, but you watch football every weekend, you can still have an opinion. I don't think you necessarily should throw it out the window that just because somebody's never physically done it themselves, if they study it their entire lives, there's still maybe something to be gleaned from that situation. But I do agree that experience goes a long, long way to understanding what you're talking about. So again, I'm just saying you shouldn't completely write somebody off, but I do agree that experience, I think, makes a difference. Now that we've tangented good and real hard, let's go ahead and get back to the fights here, you guys. Daniel Santos takes on Zhang Yong Li. Zhang Yong Li looked fantastic on the scales today. Fight ready boy. He's ready to go here. 146 and his opponent 146 as well, except Daniel Santos, boy, did he look rough. This man has not been able to make it to a fight. He's 1-8 in fights as far as just making the walk to the cage. He's had so many canceled fights. He's had a lot of health problems. He's pulled out of fights at the last second, and he almost missed weight. He blew his first weigh-in this morning. So he had to come back for a second attempt. He made weight. He's smiling in this picture, but in literally every other shot that they showed him, he looked absolutely awful. Absolutely awful. It would be, remiss of me to have you guys look at this photo and just be like, yeah, he's totally fine. No, he wasn't. He was having a hard time, which you're getting an extra 10 pounds spotted to you to come in on this fight, and you're still struggling to make weight. There is something wrong with Wiley Cat Santos, you guys. I'm saying it right now, loud and clear. Multiple canceled fights, up a weight class, 10 extra pounds, and still barely made weight. Something's off about this kid right now. I do not feel comfortable putting any money on him whatsoever. Now, the line is starting to move heavily towards Zhang Yong Li. Zhang Yong Li was the underdog coming into this fight, and when they faced off, there's a big size difference. You can tell these guys belong in different weight classes. Now, I do think Daniel Santos is the kind of psychopath who might be able to crash the pocket and do damage and hurt someone like Zhang Yong Li just based on his style, based on how he likes to come after people, the aggression, the skill set. He could get in there and he could make this fight interesting. Absolutely. But if there's any kind of physical hindrance for this guy and he gets in there and crashes with a much, much larger man who hits pretty dang hard up a weight class, I think he's in trouble. I like the under in this fight. I also will tell you guys, now I'm not going to give away all the nuggets because I need you to go watch the Sharp Action Report. It's 30 minutes. It's quick. It's choppy. You'll get all the info you need. My guy Andrew did say that one of the sharper bets they took this week was on the under when it was sitting at -120. That's been coming in fast. It is minus 145 from what I'm seeing right now. It was minus 130 when I did the show earlier this afternoon. So more money is coming in on the under, you guys. We need to get on that under 2.5, and that fight doesn't go the distance ASAP if you're going to play it, because it's starting to get out of hand. Joshua saying, is he still training at Shoot the Box? As far as I am aware, I do believe he is still a Shoot the Box fighter at this point. I can't confirm if he's recently left the camp or something like that. I haven't seen anything that would make me believe that that were the case. So no, I do believe he's still a Shoot the Box at this point, but he's way undersized and he's struggling to make weight. So big red flags, in my opinion. You know what? It wouldn't be a Friday Undefeated post-weigh-in show if we didn't break out the tinfoil cap. And I think this is the kind of fight that is tinfoil cap worthy. This man is up a weight class, missing weight. I think he's going to get put to sleep. I'll just say that. Jung Young Lee is the pick for me, mostly because of all the issues that we're seeing from Wiley Cat Santos. But I think for a betting perspective, under might be the way to go because one of these guys is going down. Next fight up, you've got Marc-Andre Barriault, and he is taking on Bruno Silva. Oh my goodness. Okay. Bruno Silva looked like he rolled off the couch and is ready to make his heavyweight debut for this one. The man is soft. Like, look, he's all puffy. He's not caught up or anything like that coming into this fight. This is a real tough look. And he blew weight. He came in at 187 pounds. Troubling, very troubling. Marc-Andre Barriault, on the other hand, looked completely dialed the fuck in. This man looks in great shape. He's fighting in his backyard. He is stone cold up there. He is stoic looking. Like, this is, guys, this one is simple to me. Like, Marc-Andre Barriault wants to be there, and Wiley Cat, not Wiley Cat, and Bruno Silva does not. Okay, Bruno Silva's come out with like interviews and stuff like that, talking about his lack of motivation, talking about his anxiety. Like, he does not want to be there anymore. He's on a 5-fight losing streak. When these two faced off, they sized up pretty well. The physicality difference was massive, right? Marc-Andre Barriault, completely different, chiseled physique, massive muscles. You've got soft body Bruno Silva. I talked about this last week where I believe Dontel Mays was done. I believe Dontel Mays had quit. He understood it was the end of the road. He understood that this was the end of the line. And so he didn't even bother. He didn't even try. He showed up out of shape. He showed up overweight. He was flabby. And you could just tell by looking at him that he wasn't taking this fight seriously. He went out there and he got his ass kicked. It's the closest Thomas Peterson's been to finishing anybody in the UFC ever, because he doesn't finish people. He's just like a lay on top of you type of wrestler. I'm not counting Dana White's Contender Series Kimuras, okay? This is the same situation. Bruno Silva's done. He's done. He's checked out. It's over. He will bite down on the mouthpiece and swing twice tomorrow, you guys. Twice. He will take his shot at winning this fight. And if it doesn't go his way, he's going to give up. So I think Marc-Andre Barriault is going to drag this guy into deep waters and make him freaking quit. He's going to win this fight, and I think it's going to be a round 2, round 3 TKO situation. That's what I'm envisioning. Now, Bruno Silva's never been knocked out in his entire professional career, but when you give up, you won't move when the ref says you got to move. You'll shell up. You're not going to have the energy or the fight in you to swing back, to punch back. You're going to take your check and you're going to go home. That's how it works. So I fully expect that when Marc-Andre Barriault starts putting it on Bruno Silva, he's going to say, no thanks. Now, it could be a sneaky submission situation. We've seen Marc-Andre Barriault has submitted people before, and that line is 10-1. However, in my opinion, he just likes to go out there and beat people up like heavy bags. He's going to get on top of him, drag him to the mat. If he gets up, he'll put him back down again, and he's just going to keep hammering. And in that kind of a situation, you give up by shelling, right? Like, it's not that you're concussed. It's not that you're actually knocked out. But when you just do this and wait for the referee to do something, that's how you get TKO'd. And that's how I see this thing playing out. I think Marc-Andre Barriault by knockout is the way to go. And this number's come down a decent bit. They had Marc-Andre by decision at plus 215, and then Marc-Andre by KO was like, I think, plus 225. So they were close, but the decision was slightly favored. That's flipped now. You've got Marc-Andre by KO at plus 200 and Marc-Andre by decision at plus 225. The sub hasn't budged. So I think it's round 2, round 3, you guys, and I think those numbers are good enough to play. Round 2 is plus 650. Round 3 is plus 300. I mean, sure, he could potentially get it done in round 1, I guess, but that's never really been Marc-Andre's thing, and I do think it'll take like a beating and quit job from Silva for this thing to hit. So again, maybe he quits within 5 minutes, but that's not something we've seen before. So I want to give him a little bit more credit than that, but we'll see. Yeah, Mark says Silva retirement fight. Let's go. And that's what's up. I really think it is the retirement fight. Dan T says, been listening to mostly your shows on Spotify. Happy I made the live stream. What's up, Dan? Appreciate you being here. Always love you coming in here. Mark saying, do you watch the Jets and Blues Game 7 live? I did. That was insanity. And I'm sad because I had Blues money line. And the fact that they blew it with seconds left in the game and then lost in overtime, I was very, very upset. Kool-Aid, what's up? Clint Colt in the house. Let's freaking go. All right, guys. Next fight up. Navajo Sterling takes on Ivan Ersland. And what the hell is going on here? Ivan Ersland, by the way, looks like he's got that bodybuilder physique, man. This guy is in shape. He's got solid abs. He's built like a brick shithouse, right? But his opponent, UFC newcomer, oh dear God, this kid is jacked. Navajo Sterling is taking his vitamins, ladies and gentlemen. Look at those abs. Dear God. He was not built that way before. He is not built that way before. These guys both came in at 205 pounds, and Ivan is about twice as thick as Navajo. They size up very well, you guys. They're roughly the same height out there, but Ivan Ersland is much thicker. He is twice as thick as Sterling is. And I really think that Navajo Sterling is in trouble in this fight. It's the year 2025, and our Lord has been punishing people with undefeated records. Ivan Ersland is the best fighter far and away that Navajo Sterling has fought. This is a massive step up in competition, and he's got grappling upside at plus 250. You guys, I'm this close. This is the one all week that I've been staring at and just going, I need to bet this. And for some reason, like I'm like faltering here. And I think that's because I'm not super big on Ivan Ersland, but I want to be on the 2025 trend of fading undefeated fighters because that's been printing money. If you've been I need to plug the numbers. I need to actually go back and do the math, because if you've just been betting against these undefeated chumps to lose their O's, you've been absolutely slaying in MMA. So I kind of want to just blindly jump on the trend at this point. I've talked about it for like 3-4 events in a row. I've brought it to your attention. And then I sit on the sidelines and go, I'm just not going to parlay them. We should just be betting the dogs. We should just be betting these massive underdogs, because these favorites are not deserving and they're losing their O's. They're getting those fraud checks, and we should be in on it. All right, guys. Next fight. Modestas Bukauskas takes on Ion Coutelaba. 205 for Coutelaba, 203 for Modestas Bukauskas. And Ion is jacked, baby. My man is always looking solid. Huge flex on the scales here today. Now, I don't want to give any shit to Modestas Bukauskas. I give him plenty of shit when it comes to his skill set and the way he fights and the things that I don't like about him and how I don't think he's truly a real UFC level guy. I give him all kinds of shit for those things, right? I'm not going to give him shit for the condition that he's in. I'm not going to give him shit for his physique and the way he's built, because he looks good. This guy is in good shape. He is solid. He is ready to go. I like this fight. I like this fight a lot. Money finally is pushing it towards the Ion Coutelaba side. He's about minus 125 now. I got minus 108. I very much like Ion Coutelaba in this spot, you guys. I think he's going to bully Modestas out there. The big thing for me is there is so many more tools in the toolbox of Ion Coutelaba. And I know that sounds odd because he's not really the most overly talented and skilled guy, but he's a good, solid boxer. I think he can hang in the striking. His durability checks out far more than Modestas does. His cardio is not on the level of Modestas, but Modestas needs round 4 and 5 to make that actually matter. He's not knocking people out in the UFC in 3 rounds. He does it on the regionals in round 4 and round 5. So it's kind of a wash to me. The wrestling obviously is way on the side of Ion, and the power is on the side of Ion. Modestas goes to decision with a lot of these guys. He doesn't unload and knock people out in round 1 unless he's fighting bums that don't belong on the roster like he did in his last fight. So every single thing checks Ion Coutelaba here for me. I like Ion Coutelaba in this spot. I got in early. I'm very happy that I beat somewhat of a line movement here as it starts to edge more his way. I feel a little bit better about it. Yeah, good stuff. Ready to freaking go. Yeah, Sev, there's a lot of people that have lost their O's. I'm thinking I'm going to do a video on it. I'm looking forward to it. All right. And fight picks, come on, man. Like advertising yourself in my live stream. The fuck, man. That's bad form. That's bad form. Not cool. Next fight up, you have got Jessica Andrade taking on Jasudavicius. Andrade came in at 126. Jazz came in at 124. All smiles for Jazz. She is freaking huge, you guys. Absolutely massive every single time. Jessica Andrade, she looks a little soft around the middle. I'll be honest with you. I mean, don't get me wrong. She's thicked out. She's solid. She knows what she's doing. She fights in both weight classes, but she is way not in the right division when she's at 125. She is built for 115. She loses her physicality advantage at 125, and it's a serious problem for her. I like Jessica to get bullied in this fight, you guys. I know I got you there, right? No, I like Jasmine Jasudavicius a lot here. Big size difference when they face off. If you watch those ceremonial face-offs, there's a weight class between these two women. And I mentioned the physique of Andrade, where she's a little soft. I think this is another spot where she's rolling off the couch for a paycheck. I think she agreed to another fight in enemy territory. She'll come out and she'll give it her best go in round one. And then she's going to fall apart. And then Jazz is going to just be on top of her. Like I know Jessica has a good get-up game. I know she's got decent takedown defense, but we've seen that at 125, she is absolutely on the losing side of the spectrum when it comes to physicality. She's going to get taken down. She's going to get mounted. She's going to get crucifixed. Like, Jazz is going to just do whatever she wants to her on the ground eventually. And I know Jessica Andrade is a much better striker on the feet, but she's so wild. She's so reckless. It's not hard to knock her off balance. It's not hard to time the shots and get underneath her. It's not hard to knock her over. Like, I think that it's just going to be a physicality thing. And Jazz really is the biggest star that the UFC has in Canada. So they're setting her up in a winnable spot here for her to be able to go ahead and get her hand raised. And I think get a highlight here. I know the total is set to over 2.5 at -155, but it's very similar to me to the Marc-Andre Barriault fight, where I fully believe that Andrade is eventually going to just kind of pack it in and Jazz is going to be too much and the ref will save her. I think it's a round 2, round 3 TKO for Jasmine Jasudavicius. And this is one where we talked about the props. I have a prop show now, you guys. If you haven't checked it out, please do. It's a quick watch. One of my favorite props this week was Jasmine Jasudavicius by KO. And I believe it was either 6-1 or 8-1. I can't remember off the top of my head which one it was right now, but that's come down to 5-1. So either way, that number has moved down. I do think that the finishing is going to be the big thing here. It's just a matter of when does Jessica run out of gas? When does Jessica get tired from having somebody this big on top of her? And I just think that's all it's going to come down to. Eventually, she's going to wear out, and the elbows we've seen from Jazz are going to make the difference. Jessica eventually will get saved in there, I believe. D, what is going on, buddy? Glad you could be here. Steph says, does Jessica Andrade have a neck tattoo? I don't think Jessica Andrade, I believe, does not actually. And see, that's the Brazilian lesbians with the neck tattoo. It does not apply to Jessica Andrade. It does not apply. She's got a clean neck. There's not a thing you can find there. The angle does not qualify here, guys. So be warned. There's no neck tattoo. All right. Moving right along. We have got Chuck Buffalo, Charles Radke taking on Mike Malott. Mike Malott, 171, matched by Charles Radke at 171 pounds as well. Chuck Buffalo looked good, flipping the double birds like he always does up there, repping USA and Canada in enemy territory. Mike Malott looked locked the fuck in, you guys. I will be completely honest with you. As a man who has bet against Mike Malott, as a man who does not believe in Mike Malott, I can't lie to you. He looked very good on the scales today, and he looked absolutely dialed on the scales today. This has been one of the craziest line moves on the entire dang card. So much money came in on Charles Radke. He opened up at like plus 210 or something like that. I got plus 200. I confirmed with Andrew they had sharp action at Superbook at plus 195. So your boy beating the curve on that one. He was down to plus 145. So much money came in on Chuck Buffalo that he was down to plus 145. And now we've seen a massive swing back the other direction where they've made Mike Malott a minus 200 favorite yet again. So currently Radke sits around plus 170. So I'm still ahead of the market a little bit there, but I thought it was wild to see it get all the way down to plus 145. Absolute insanity. But it kind of made me feel good because I felt like I was seeing the right things there. Let's be real, you guys. This is a tariff war, right? USA versus Canada. Let's freaking go. When they face off, it was bad blood, man. You've got Charles Radke looking to take every ounce of pain he can out of Mike Malott. He even talked about how at like at the NHL playoffs, the Canadians booed the U.S. national anthem, and he said someone's going to have to pay for that. He wouldn't shake Mike Malott's hand. Mike Malott like dusted his hand off after offering the shake. Like, this is going to be an intense fight. I absolutely love it. And frankly, I love the energy here, because if Mike Malott is coming with venom in his heart, if he's coming to try and hurt Chuck Buffalo, that plays into the game of Charles Radke, in my opinion. Radke is the guy that wants to go out there and go blood and guts, life and death. He's the guy that'll trade power and durability and see who falls first. Mike Malott don't fight that game. Mike Malott needs a pretty technical fight. If he gets hurt, he wants you to stay away from him. Charles Radke will bite down on the mouthpiece and swing back. I fully expect that if this comes down to durability and vengeance, I'm going with Murica here, baby. We're already in at plus 200 on Charles Radke. And that's my Link Memorial Dog of the Week, you guys. If you missed the Monday show, Chuck Buffalo doing it for USA with the American flag wrapped around his shoulders going into enemy territory. He's taking down Canada. That man's going to put a 10% tariff on Mike Malott on Saturday. Oh, I love this fight. I can't wait. And I do think it's a knockout, by the way. There have been rumblings. I will just tell you guys, unconfirmed rumblings that Mike Malott has been, I'm sorry, not Mike Malott, that Charles Radke has been working diligently on his grappling game, and he'll be looking for some kind of a submission in this fight. We all know that Mike Malott likes his grappling. He's a decent wrestler. He's a very strong jiu-jitsu player. The reason I don't think it's happening is just because of how good Mike Malott is at jiu-jitsu. So I think it's definitely a KO for Radke. But if you want to take a sprinkle, that sub was 14-1 earlier in the week. It's down to 12-1. So a little move, you know, there's been a little move here. Somebody playing the sub is getting noticed out there by the bookies. I just want to make sure I pass it along. Again, it's unconfirmed rumors at this point, but the camp is saying that Radke is planning on looking for subs here in this spot. And he is training with guys like GM3 and Bilal. So the grappling is probably leaps and bounds improving. I think he's going to default. You know what I mean? When guys get clocked, when they get hurt or when they taste blood, they default to factory settings, and factory settings for Radke is left hand. So I think he's just going to punch. You know, I think the sub might be there, the old club and sub, but I think it's going to be a knockout. And I like Charles Radke, and I like Charles Radke by KO. Again, I kind of think it's a 2-3 situation. Now, with Mike Malott's chin, this one could go early. So I don't want to say with certainty that this one goes late, because if they come out guns blazing to start this fight, it could be over in a hurry. That one's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to that one. But as a lifelong non-believer of Mike Malott, can't wait to see Chuck Buffalo. All right, guys. Short notice fill in here. Kyle Prepik makes 156 pounds, taking on Benoit Saint-Denis, who also makes 156 pounds. Nothing to really report on Kyle Prepik. He's not really a UFC caliber guy these days. Benoit Saint-Denis up there doing his classic crazy eyes with the tongue out. You'll love to see it. Squash match here. Big size difference. BSD is absolutely massive compared to this man. I mean, Kyle would have to be fighting at 145 in the UFC. He stands absolutely no chance in this spot. Benoit Saint-Denis is a 16-1 favorite at this point. I think it's a smash job here. Benoit Saint-Denis by however he wants. If he wants to take this guy down and make it quick and get an arm triangle on him, he will. If he wants to smash him and just make a point with his fists, he will. This reminds me of those fights where, like in PFL, Kayla Harrison, you used to have to pick even money, KO versus sub. And it was just a coin flip. It was just whatever mood she's in, go ahead and flip that coin. Because if you want to take a stab at it, they're going to make you pay even money on it, whichever side you want, you know? So I think this is a spot where you can pick your poison. KO is plus 150, sub is minus 110. The inside the distance is minus 500. So they're not going to let you get away with playing inside the distance on this fight, because everybody knows that's what it's going to be. I mean, we might as well anchor Benoit Saint-Denis inside the distance, right? This thing is not going the distance. I'm joking. I'm not actually doing that, but I can't see a world where that doesn't hit. I do not think Kyle belongs in the cage with Benoit Saint-Denis. I simply don't. Next fight up, we have got Alexa Grasso taking on Natalia Silva, 126 pounds for both ladies. And Alexa Grasso was stoic when compared to Natalia Silva's adorable smile up on the scales today. I love how happy and perky she is, and she also can whoop my ass. There's something endearing about that. Alexa Grasso looked very calm, very confident. She also looks very well filled out. She's in very good shape in this spot as well. I did go ahead and parlay up Natalia Silva in this spot. And it sounds odd because I know we were all talking about Grasso being even money against Shevchenko, etc. And I talked a little bit about this on the Sharp Action Report with my guy Andrew. I really think that Alexa Grasso has declined to some extent in her last couple of fights. I feel like the pressure of the belt was too much for her. I kind of feel like she climbed her Mount Everest, and then once she got up there, she checked that box, and then she was done, and she never really needed to do anything more than that. So I kind of feel like we're going to see a career backslide here from Grasso. She's very good. She's very dangerous. Don't get me wrong. I don't think she's a can. I'm not going to say she's shot, but if she's not focused on obtaining the belt again, if she doesn't want the responsibilities of the belt again, like she's not going to be trying to reach UFC gold again. And that's a different level of conviction. That's a different level of mentality. Natalia Silva is belt hunting out here. She's ready to go for the gold. She wants that strap. She wants to feel it around her waist. And I like her to go ahead and win this fight. I do think it's going to be a decision though. I think this is going to be a very back and forth fight. I parlayed Natalia Silva just because she's got the type of skill set where you never know that round 3 KO could be something that rears its ugly head here, or its glorious head here in this kind of a fight. But at the end of the day, I do think she wins the fight by decision, which is minus 160. I think that's a really good prop, a really good way to bring the price down, because that's more than likely how this fight is going to end up going. So Natalia Silva here for me, and I think we have a new confirmed title challenger in this fight. Last couple of fights here, you guys. We've got over 300 of you live. Again, please do me a favor, hit the like button, share the show, get subscribed already if you haven't, and then let me know. Once the show's over, jump in here, give me your favorite plays and your favorite props for UFC 315. We've got Jose Aldo taking on Aiemann Zahabi. Weird fight here. Weird. You know what? We're going to need to switch hats for this one, you guys. We're going to need to switch hats for this one. Very, very strange. So this is a bantamweight fight, 135 pounds. However, it was changed to 145 pounds this afternoon. Aiemann Zahabi looks fantastic. No issues for him up there, but I've seen the behind the scenes photos. He was struggling to make 136 pounds here for this fight, but he did it. The man's a professional. He's flexing, feeling himself. Now, Jose Aldo, look at that face. Just look at that face. Jose Aldo was not having a good time on the scales today, okay? He weighed in at 143, and he looked rough. He looked extremely rough. So the day of the fight, or the day of the weigh-ins, they call and let the other team know, hey, we're not going to make it. And I believe they negotiated to have the fight move down to 143 pounds, or requiring to weigh in at 143 or something like that, because they said that Aldo was going to not get past 145, but he weighed in at 143. So I suspect that the Zahabi team was at least smart enough to make him cut down a couple of extra pounds. But look at him. And now I can't show you the video, right? I'll get this video taken down immediately on YouTube if I use their video. But what happened with Aldo, he gets up there, blank stare, 1,000-yard stare off into the distance, does not want to be there. He's half dead on the scales. And then when he gets done, he immediately turns to leave, and they call him back because you got to pose, right? Once they weigh you in, you got to pose for the photos. And he was not about to pose for the photos, but they made him come back. And you could just see the exhaustion of, oh God, like he did not want to get back on the scales for posing for his photo. And then the next time when he actually left, he had to grab some stuff. Like he was off balance and he was like losing his equilibrium. So he's like grabbing onto things as he's getting off the scales. Jose Aldo looked old today. He looked rough on the scales, and he looked like he had a real bad time. So even though Aiemann Zahabi cut all the way down to 136 pounds, I still kind of think the cut to 143 was harder for Aldo than it was for Zahabi. Guys, I'm already on Aiemann Zahabi as an underdog here in this spot. I let my guy Liam Picks fight. Shout out to Liam, buddy. Shout out Liam. I let him talk me into Aiemann Zahabi here. He is the Zahabi whisperer. That man has printed more money on Aiemann Zahabi than anybody I know. But what's going on in this fight is you've got two different career trajectories. I know Aldo is a complete legend, right? I know he's a legend, but Zahabi is fighting the best fights of his life right now. He's career best form right now. Whereas Jose Aldo is obviously failing. He's fading. He's losing close fights. He's not able to pull the trigger. The cardio problems are popping up, and now he can't make weight, whether that's because the doctors told him to stop, whether that's because he was sick. Like, I think there's something to be said about there maybe being a like advantage sought here by the Aldo team, but that's not something he's really ever done in his career. So for him to become kind of a scumbag fighter at the end of his run would be a little out of character. It'd be a little odd for him to do something like that. So I kind of feel like some of this was at least legitimate. And if he's cutting down to 143 and looking that bad on the scales, like he definitely had a bit of a problem. I do think, yeah. MMA Upside says Aldo pulling than Alien Perez. I do think he's looking for a little bit of an advantage in this spot, but it looks like it may have backfired on him, quite frankly. So I'm on the Zahabi side. I've only got a 1 unit bet on it, and I don't know what to do at this point because I am tempted to add. I'm tempted to put more money on Amin Zahabi because I think he looked better than Jose Aldo. He's going to be the hometown fighter. The crowd is going to cheer more when he lands, and Aldo looked awful. So, like, I'm worried about Aldo's cardio. It wouldn't shock me even one little bit if Amin Zahabi found a way to finish this version of Jose Aldo, you guys. If it was like a round 3 big punch or something, Aldo gassed out and got finished in round 4 against a guy like Max Holloway. Now, I know that's, eggs and bacon, right? Like that's not even close to Amin Zahabi, but I'm just saying we've seen that in the past, that the cardio and the durability has been a problem down the stretch. So now that he's older, now that he's more fragile, now that he's missing weight, now that his gas tank might be compromised, those are the kinds of things that it's not crazy for Amin Zahabi to maybe win this fight by KO. And that's plus 650 right now. I don't hate it. I don't hate it one bit. I'll just let you know that. So we're on the dog here. Unfortunately, it feels bad to go against the legend. It feels bad to bet against Jose Aldo. But I think it's time, unfortunately, to take the old dog out the pasture. Second fight to the end. That's a weird way to say co-main event. Valentina Shevchenko takes on Manon Fiorot. Manon made 125 pounds. Valentina came in at 125 on the dot. And Lobster Face, always confident for Valentina Shevchenko. I mean, and no surprise there. That's how she always looks. She's looked a bit rough in some of her recent weight cuts. She looks a little bit better here today, in my opinion, personally speaking. When they size up, there is definitely an advantage on the Manon Fiorot side of things. She is absolutely massive. She is so tall. She is so long. It's a bit of a cheat code just how big she is for this weight class. I don't have any action on this spot, you guys. I don't have a single bet on this fight. And I know I'm a complete casual for this one, but it's dog or pass for me, right? I've missed out on the easy low ball, easy money opportunities on Valentina Shevchenko recently, trying to bet against her with Grasso, trying to time the fall of Valentina Shevchenko. This is a sharp versus squares spot. All the sharps are on Manon Fiorot. All the squares are on Valentina Shevchenko at plus odds. I don't like being on the notably square side unless I know for a fact I'm right. You know what I mean? Like, unless my soul is just like, I don't care. I've said to you guys before, sometimes square is sharp. Like, sometimes the sharp are betting the fucking Browns every single Sunday, even though they go 0-14 for a football season, right? Like, that's what we deal with sometimes with sharp bettors. They can find a value side and they'll put money on it time and time and time again. Sometimes they're just straight wrong. I don't have that conviction for this fight. I do think Valentina Shevchenko, as the seeded champion, is being disrespected, okay? I do think there's a path to her using her grappling in a way that nobody else has been able to against Manon Fiorot. I broke that down on my Monday podcast. Manon let other fighters get to the body clinch position a lot easier than you would expect. And while she did defend those takedowns, someone like Valentina will make you pay for her even just getting to that position. I think that'll be a factor in this fight. I think Valentina will be able to hit takedowns. I think she'll be able to get top time and control Manon Fiorot. It comes down to how shot is she and just how strong is Manon Fiorot, because with her size, if she's able to control the striking and she's able to mitigate the grappling, then she will end up winning the fight. So I understand why people are betting Manon Fiorot. I do. I just think it's wrong to lay chalk in this situation on her. She's no spring chicken either. She's not a young fighter coming over here. So it's not like we're betting a 32-year-old phenom in her prime. She's also older. So minus 135 to me sounds wrong on Manon Fiorot. I think this fight should be a pick'em. The plus 115 on Valentina Shevchenko is enticing, but it's close enough. It's thin enough that I don't need to get involved. And there's other spots on this card that I want to smash, that I'm so much more confident in, that I'm so much more ready to go on. There's way more juicy spots on this card, in my opinion, than a coin flip at a championship level where it could end up being a split decision. That's just me. All right. Main event time, you guys. This is the one. This is the good one. We have got Jack Della Maddalena, and he is taking on my boy, the champion, Belal Muhammad. 170 on the dot for both men. Jack Della looked absolutely locked in on the scales today. Great shape, no problem, looking good. Belal Muhammad rocking the bully sunglasses. He's the one and only person that gets the pass for wearing sunglasses on the scales because of his persona, the bully. That's what he always does. He's always rocking those. So it's not out of ordinary. He's not hiding anything from us. And I thought there was an Ian Gary photo because he did go ahead and weigh in as the backup here. But both guys look fantastic. Both guys look locked in. You know, when they faced off here, there was a ever so slight bitty advantage for Jack Della in the height. I mean, they're marked as the same height on UFC stats, and it was less than an inch, to be fair. So it was close. They're pretty much the same height out there. And this was an incredibly intense stare down, you guys. These guys were nose to nose. Jack Della started talking. Belal stared into his soul. I cannot wait for this fight. Now, Belal has repeatedly said that he's not going to shoot for takedowns. He's repeatedly said that he's going to make a point on Saturday. And while a lot of people are saying that that's a terrifying prospect and that's absolutely not something that he should do, this is really potentially a step down in competition for Belal from what he's been facing for the majority of his career. Jack Della is still relatively unproven at this point. People have been giving me shit on all my posts when I talk about this, but facts are facts, you guys. Jack Della went to a split decision with Basil Hafez, a guy who barely can scrape it in the UFC based on grappling. He went to a split decision with Kevin Holland, a guy who we know doesn't take his career seriously, and especially lets fights slip away because he's playing around in there and having fun. Not a serious competitor at this moment. And then he had a comeback win against Gilbert Burns. Now, people thought that me saying he got his ass kicked by Gilbert was a little too much. And maybe that was a little too strongly worded from me. I'll admit that. But Gilbert was not, in my estimation, not theoretically, quite literally up 2-1 on this man. Gilbert Burns was 60 seconds away from winning a 29-28 decision when they fought. So you were headed for potentially another split decision, except losing this one, or outright losing a unanimous decision, maybe a draw if they gave him a 10-8 in round 3. But either way, he was losing to Gilbert Burns until he hit the perfect knee. And it reminds me so much of Leon Edwards. He got the perfect knee at the perfect time, and that was the end of Gilbert Burns. If he had just slightly missed with that knee, if he had decided to throw a different strike, he loses. We're talking razor thin margin that he got by his last opponent. And now he's taking on Belal, a man who is a better version of both Gilbert Burns and Basil Hafez. Okay. And on top of that, I actually think that there is some upside striking here to Belal. Height and reach wise, he's not at a huge deficit against Jack Della the way he was against a guy like Leon Edwards. So he'll be able to operate in the striking realm. Yeah, he'll be at a speed disadvantage, and I do think that'll be a problem. So I don't think Belal's really going to go out there and strike this entire fight, right? I do think he'll mix in the takedowns. I do think it's talk. I do think he'll make it an MMA game. But I said this on my other show, and people gave me shit for it again. If Belal thinks he's a good enough striker to box with a guy like Jack Della, I'm not going to tell him he's not. I'm not going to be the one who sits here and says that he really isn't, because frankly, we haven't seen it. The one time we saw Belal really let his hands loose was against Sean Brady, a fellow grappler, and he TKO'd him. So like, maybe he is, guys. Like there is a universe out there where Belal actually is a good enough boxer to stand toe to toe with this guy, Jack Della, who has 1.5, two credible wins in the UFC. Like, I mean, I know we're all hyped on him. Don't get me wrong. I just think he's a very young prospect, and I don't think he's ready for his championship shot yet. This was supposed to be somebody else's title shot. He was not supposed to be in this position. Shavkat Rakhmonov was supposed to be challenging Belal for the belt tomorrow. Okay. Shavkat ended up being unready to compete. So the UFC called Jack Della. They were not going to give him this opportunity just yet. They were going to make him fight 2 more times before they gave him this shot. So I don't think it's his time yet. Now, a ton of money's been coming in on Jack Della, and I do think that that's somewhat recency bias. Belal has never gotten his flowers from the betting. He's never gotten his flowers from anybody in the UFC. He's always been a consummate underdog. So the fact that he's now a favorite, people can't wait to bet against him as an underdog. And I think it's wolf tickets, you guys. I think playing the dog in this spot is just setting yourself up for pain. And I know you might have that attitude of, well, if Jack Della wins, we're never getting plus money ever again. And maybe you're right. But in this weight class, I don't know that that's accurate. And I really feel this feels trappy to me. Like the books finally recognize what Bilal is. And he's got advantages over Jack Della that can't be ignored. So I fully expect Bilal to come out here and win this fight. And I actually, hot take, I think we should bet an under in this fight. I do not think that this fight ruined my tinfoil hat there. Holy shit. I do not think this fight goes the distance, you guys. Whether it's Jack Della piecing up Bilal and ripping him to the body and hurting him and knocking him out, or if it's Bilal getting on top of him and working for an arm triangle and finding his way to a sub, I actually think this fight does not go the distance. It was way more heavily chalked to the over before, and now it is chalked towards, or not chalked, but that number for the under 4.5 is like plus 125. Money is absolutely coming in on the under here. And I very much prefer the under. I agree. I think both Bilal and Jack Della can finish this fight. I think there is a high probability of violence this week in the main event. And that's a bit of a rock the boat type of statement, but that's truly what I believe. So Bilal for me, you guys, Bilal to close a parlay. I'm a little bit sad. I've beaten so many line movements on the, like the underdogs that I've decided to take, but all of my favorites I'm getting reversed on. So like Bexad is now playable straight. He's in a parlay for me. Bilal is now playable straight. He's in a parlay for me. There's still meat on the bone for Charles Radke, but I beat that dog movement. I own Coutelaba. I don't mind minus 125 at all. I'm happy I got a better price. But like, it's just funny that my parlays are the ones that are kind of moving against me here this week. This is the kind of week, though, where I think dogs are going to be barking. This is the kind of week where we've got minus 200 favorites instead of minus 350 favorites, minus 400 favorites, right? So I think there's going to be a lot of potential greasy upsets this week. I think we're very much in that kind of a territory. This should be a very, very fun fight. I think the undercard is going to be insanely violent. And then I think we're going to have a pretty slow main card where it's very technical and high level with a lot of decisions. And then I think the main event will kind of bring us back around and send us out on a good note. That's my prediction there. Let me get caught up with the chat here before we go ahead and wrap up the show. Arrow says Menon has not even beaten a fighter that's even average. I mean, the only thing that I would say in response to that, while I think she's a little untested, kind of like we talked about, she did beat Erin Blanchfield, who I think is the hottest future prospect of this weight class. There was a massive size discrepancy there. So she did just kind of physically bully her. And I think that led to a lot of her success, but you know, you can't blame her for being big, right? And then she did beat Rose Namajunas, which that's a very impressive win, no matter what phase of her career Rose is in. So I'll disagree absolutely, you know, a little bit. MMA Upside says JDM boxes Bilal's head off. And, you know, maybe. But Joshua has more my vibe here. A ground and pound round 4 and 5. I agree. I think that especially if he does go to the wrestling at some point in this fight, I think the main event rounds is going to be a problem for Jack Della at Bilal's pace. I think he's going to have a hard time keeping up his usual fighting style at Bilal's pace. So if Bilal does mix in the wrestling, I think he'll end up getting tired and then he'll be slim pickings down the stretch. I do think it's round 4 and round 5. Bilal himself called round 3 TKO though. So maybe we should include round 3 in that just in case. Let's see here. Yeah, Masters says all this just to come and see this man with a tinfoil hat on. Hey, you got to bust out the tinfoil hat every once in a while, right? You got to get a little crazy. Iceland Farts, my guy. Thanks for tuning in. You are a little bit late, but you can time travel back to the beginning of the show and go ahead and start it over. You're okay. You're all right. Appreciate you all so much being here. You guys have been absolutely fantastic. Of course, I love and appreciate the support. As always, you guys are the freaking best. I hope the show helps you make some intelligent betting decisions. And as you know, this is the undefeated post-weigh-in show. Never a bad read here. Never a bad bet here. And so we're going to absolutely crush UFC 315. I called my shot on Monday, you guys. I said it. I'm smashing this card. I'm absolutely smashing this card. I feel so good. The reads are on point right now. There's value on some of these numbers. We're going to have a good day tomorrow at UFC 315. I hope you have a good day for the rest of your Friday. And hey, if you guys haven't checked it out already, there's fights tonight. Spectation Sports is live right now with some regional scene MMA, and it's going to be a pretty dang fun card. So hit the link in the description below. Promo code DIEHARD will get you 20% off when you sign up for Spectation Sports. So if you want something to watch this evening, you're bored, there's no football on, click the link, get on Spectation, go watch some fights, and also, of course, give them a follow on Twitter. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Let's have a wonderful day tomorrow, and let's roll.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Niggas be up on the block, looking for trouble, you can get popped. If you was looking wealthy, just let a sign, you can get stopped. I seen them running them pockets, they is not chatting, they when I stop. I call that stop and shop, I seen niggas get popped and drop. Niggas be up on the block, looking for trouble, you can get popped. If you was looking wealthy, just let a sign, you can get stopped. I seen them running them pockets, they is not chatting, they when I stop. I call that stop and shop, I seen niggas get popped and drop. Walking the street like a dope kid, look like a Hollywood movie wrote this. Might just ride and think about some shit, hit a quick lick and run on some dumb shit. I be getting hard by danger, hit a quick lick then masturbate later. Girls be hot and dumb for reasons they think good shit fun. It be the danger, it be my post rising, knowing that I could get caught. But I be the boss and it be the thought of all of the cash a nigga just got choking. Head crack it and it's open, steal all your money right up in one motion. Just go right with a flow like ocean. This not a game but we out for tokens. Niggas be up on the block looking for trouble, you could get popped. If you was looking wealthy, just let a sign, you could get stopped. I seen them running them pockets, they not chatting, they when I stop. I caught a stop and shop, I seen niggas get popped and drop. Niggas be up on the block, looking for trouble, you could get popped. If you was looking wealthy, just let a sign, you could get stopped. I seen them running them pockets, they not chatting, they on time. Stop. I caught a stop and shop, I seen niggas get popped and drop. Check it, or zealot, cashy, don't app it. Nah, I'm trying to get all this money, my nigga, yo, I be an addict. I'm trying to run me some elbows and I don't care if it costs static. This ain't no play, this ain't no theater shit, don't be dramatic. I like to think about things like why do we steal? Shit, why? I be in some robber and shit, like see how you feel. Yo, see how you feel, bitch. When all of a sudden like make you fucking go broke, you be going broke. You could be down and niggas will just fucking joke. They just gonna joke until you get all the cash. Then they your biggest fans. Hey, Outcast, can I get like 100? Shut the fuck up, bitch.